Tallstar's Revenge, Chapter 8. Tallpaw felt Dawn Stripe's tail sweep his spine. "You'll do fine," she murmured. "Just keep moving and think like a fox." A fox? Tallpaw had no idea how a fox thought. He'd never even seen one. "Be smart." Dawn Stripe nosed him away. Tallpaw slid into the nearest bank of heather. Quiet as he could, he darted between two stems, hoping he'd find a rabbit trail that would lead closer to the rock. The gap appeared for a few tail lengths, but then ended in a thick grass stump. Tallpaw's heart quickened. The apprentices had found him straight away. Shoepaw would laugh at him for the rest of the day, the rest of their lives, probably. Tallpaw turned and pushed through the thick heather branches, wincing as he forced his way past. He struggled onward until he finally burst into a gap between the bushes. A sharp tang touched his nose. Tiny dirt berries. He found a rabbit track. The trail led among the stems. Tallpaw raced along it. Instinctively, he kept low, crunching down on his spine. That didn't set the heather quivering and give his position away. Am I going the right way? Where's the rock? He couldn't see it through the heather, but if he stretched up his head to get his bearings, the others would spot him. He tasted the air, hoping for a clue. Peat and heather, and the familiar scent of Steechpaw. Was the young Tom close? Tallpaw pushed on harder, twisting his ears back for a sound to pursue. Paw's steps murmured behind him. Switch course. Claude's runner's instructions echoed in his ears. As the path forked ahead, Tallpaw swerved, taking the trail that sloped upward. Feel the ground trembling. More paw steps pounded behind. The apprentices were on his trail. The path sloped steeply, growing rocky, which forced Tallpaw to slow down so he didn't trap his paw and break his leg. He told himself that his pursuers would have to slow down too, and after a frantic scramble over the stones, the trail emerged from the heather onto a grassy hillside. Tallpaw flattened his ears and ran faster. Remembering his practice earlier, he lengthened his stride. The grass blurred beneath him. Snatching a breath, he glanced over his shoulder. Steechpaw exploded from the heather. Repaw and Dopaw fanned out behind Tallpaw. Tallpaw saw Steechpaw's tail flick one way. Now they were planning to surround him. He swerved sideways, his paws skidding on the grass as he switched directions. Putting the apprentice's across the apprentice's path, he blocked their attempt to trap him on both sides. "Come on, Steechpaw!" "Think!" asked Painful Cove high up from the slope. "Double back." Wind streamed through Tallpaw's whiskers. Exhilaration pulsed in his belly. He was running as fast as a bird, but the apprentices were gaining on him. Double back. He was smaller than his pursuers, and that made him nimble. He slowed gradually at first. "They'll think they've outrun me." Tallpaw glanced over his shoulder and pleased to see a triumph flash in Repaw's eyes. She was in the lead now. Steechpaw was racing behind, marching her stride step by step. Beside him, Dopaw veered away. Tallpaw saw the she-cat narrow her eyes. "She's trying to overtake me and block my path." Suddenly slammed his paws into the hard grass, spun around, leaving deep scars in the turf, and changed straight toward the apprentices. Charged straight back toward the apprentices, their eyes stretched wide in astonishment. Surprised, eh? Ears flat, tail streaking behind. Tallpaw raced down the slope, through the gap between Steechpaw and Dopaw. "Don't let a kid outpace you, Cloud Runner!" yelled from above them. "Kid? I'm an apprentice!" Tallpaw sprinted down the hillside. The rock flashed at the edge of his vision. He'd have to change course to reach it. Steechpaw, Repaw, and Dopaw were still trying to turn, so they clumsily on the grass behind. Tallpaw needed to make a break for the rock before they found their footing. He darted sideways, his hind paw slipping out from under him. His belly hit the ground, but he scrambled and kept running. Steechpaw was pulling closer. He could hear the young Tom's breath. Repaw and Dopaw pounded his tail. He was closing in on the rock. If he could just keep running, he'd make it. Excitement thrilled through him. The paws grasped his flanks. A swift push sent him sideways. The world spun as Tallpaw tumbled over the grass and skidded to a halt. Great chase! Stitchball leaned over him. Are you okay, Tallpaw? Pushed past your brother and looked anxiously at Tallpaw. Repaws just behind, panting too hard to speak. Yeah, I'm fine. Tallpaw scrambled to his paws, struggling to catch his breath. Good work! Cloudrunner ran across the grass toward him, Dawnstripe at his heels. You nearly made it! Tallpaw's mentor skidded to a halt in front of him, her eyes shining. Stitchpaw nudged him with a shoulder. I thought you'd outrun us for a moment, he panted. Spin followed Larksplash and Hairflight, pounded across the grass with Shoepaw trailing behind, much less eager. Hairflight reached them first. That was impressive. Shoepaw glanced at Tallpaw. I would have made it to the rock. Tallpaw switched his hair. I don't think so, Small Paws. Tallpaw wanted to purr, but he was still trying to get enough air inside him. Cloudrunner jerked his head toward the 4 trees. Let's test your hunting skills. Ears perked, looking as if he'd done nothing astronomous than chase a leaf. Stitchpaw led the way down the slope. As the apprentices disappeared into the heather with their mentors, Tallpaw tasted the air. Smells like they'll find good hunting there. Tallpaw stuck out his tongue. You can taste anything but the wind. Stripe shook her golden pet. Don't worry, Tallpaw. Before long, you'll be able to scent prey halfway across. More. I'm hungry. Shoepaw glanced hopefully at the thick lime trees running along the bottom of the moor. Can we hunt, too? Battle moves first, Hairflight told him. With Tallpaw, Shoepaw's tail drooped. He won't know any. Hairflight glanced at his apprentice. Then teach him some. Shoepaw stomped across the grass and stood a tail length away. His brown pelt looked like a straight piece of wood against the windswept moor. Dawnstripe swept Tallpaw forward with her tail. He'll need to learn defensive moves first, she called to Shoepaw. Attack him! Don't forget, it's his first session. She nodded to Tallpaw. The simplest defense is to raise your forepaw. Don't jab wildly. Focus on protecting your muzzle and pushing your attacker away. Tallpaw nodded, trying to remember everything Dawnstripe was saying. He could still feel his heart pounding from the chase. Curled his hind claws into the grass to steady himself and fixed his gaze on Shoepaw. Shoepaw's eyes glittered. Ready? Tallpaw nodded, letting a ferocious yell. Shoepaw flew toward him. Tallpaw gasped and lifted his paws. He was too slow. Claws raked his nose. With a yelp, Tallpaw tripped over his own tail and rolled onto the grass. Shoepaw! Hairflight's mew was sharp. Dawnstripe warned you that it's Tallpaw's first time. As Tallpaw scrambled to his paws, he saw Shoepaw roll his eyes. Why do I get stuck training with the kids? Tallpaw faced him. His eyes faced him. No saying, I'm not a kid, he hissed. Try again. Shoepaw crouched, wiggling his hindquarters. Tallpaw watched him as Shoepaw leaped behind him. He reared and lifted his forepaws, quicker this time. Shoot him more quickly. Shoepaw hit him more slowly, and Tallpaw found it easy to flip him away with a sharp shove. As Shoepaw rolled dramatically to the grass, Tallpaw felt a twinge of satisfaction. Then claws jabbed his ribs. Shoepaw gasped. Shoepaw had thrust out a hind leg as he rolled and caught him in the side. Sorry, Shoepaw jumped up. It was an accident. Yeah, right, Tallpaw narrowed his eyes. I bet we were supposed to keep our claws sheathed in practice. Try it again, Dawnstripe encouraged. This time, move as you push him away, Tallpaw. You need to land ready for the next attack. Tallpaw nodded and faced Shoepaw once more. Shoepaw's tail tip was flickering. You still think I'm a tunneler? Shoepaw? Tallpaw flexed his claws, fighting the urge to unsheath them. Tallpaw nodded. Tallpaw, Shoepaw, Tallpaw, 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 Tallpaw I'll show you. Shoepaw sprang into the air. Tallpaw froze from him, and then seeing daylight beneath the young Tom's belly, ducked beneath it and bucked it like a rabbit. He felt Shoepaw's weight on his back and pushed his spine into his den mate's belly. Shoepaw yelped as Tallpaw tossed him backward. Tallpaw turned on his hind paws. Shoepaw was withering on the grass. Tallpaw reared over him, and Shoepaw stared at him, his eyes wide with shock. 4 paws raised, Tallpaw showed his teeth for a moment before dropping it onto all fours and panting away. How was that? He asked Dawnstripe. Dawnstripe blinked at him. That's not exactly what I expected. It was excellent, Hairflight purred. Good work, Tallpaw. Shoepaw clambered onto his paws, scowling. He was supposed to be practicing defense moves, not attack. Tallpaw prickled. Everything he did seemed to annoy Shoepaw. He lifted his chin. I was defending myself. It's not my fault if you can't keep your balance. You cheated, Wormpaw. Shoepaw stalked past him and pushed him to that. Can we get something to eat now? Dawnstripe and Hairflight exchanged glances before Hairflight hurried up to catch up with his apprentice. Well done, Tallpaw. Dawnstripe fell in beside him as they followed the others along the narrow trail. Thanks, Satisfaction warmed Tallpaw's pelt. Don't worry about Shoepaw, Dawnstripe reassured him. He's used to training with older apprentices. Hairflight will have to have a word with him about his attitude. A tabby can't change his stripes, Tallpaw sniffed. Shoepaw was born with a burr in his fur. Always had to put up with it. Come and share this rabbit, Bartclaw called from the huntings behind the hunting stones as Tallpaw ducked into camp. The scent of fresh prey reached Tallpaw's tongue. He bounded across over the tusk rocks and stopped in the patch of sunshine where Barkpaw was, tearing flesh from a rabbit carcass. Suddenly realizing how tired he was, Tallpaw flopped down beside his friend. Here! Barkpaw shoved the rabbit toward Tallpaw. Here! Thanks. Tallpaw leaned forward and took a bite. How's strained? Barkpaw asked. Tallpaw glanced at Shoepaw, who was sniffing disdainfully at a vole on the prey heap. He wished he could tell Barkpaw what a pain in the tail Shoepaw had been, but they were litter mates, and a true boy didn't complain about his clan mates. It was great. The merry chasing across the grass with the apprentice at his heels thrilled Tallpaw once more. He felt a stab of delight as he went flipping Shoepaw onto his back. I learned a lot. Barkpaw took another bite of the rabbit. I learned how to make a dressing for scratches today, he told Tallpaw with his mouth full. It draws out an infection of rotten wounds. Tallpaw's belly tightened. That sounds... He searched for words while he fought back queasiness. Interesting. I'm glad I'm training as a warrior. I made it for Whitebeard's ear, Barkpaw kept on chewing. He's gotten an infected tick bite. I added jumper sap. That'll loosen the tick. It was so swollen that its skin would burst. Tallpaw stared at him. The scent of rabbit suddenly making him feel sick. How's Hawkheart? He asked, changing the subject. He's a really good teacher, Barkpaw mewed. It's hard keeping up, but I'm learning so much. Tallpaw noticed Shoepaw heading toward them. Ignoring his queasiness, he took a bite of the rabbit. Shoepaw reached them as he was swallowing. The dark brown Tom flung a mouse onto the ground. Have you cured anyone? He asked yet, as he asked, settling down beside Barkpaw. Barkpaw swallowed. I won't know until tomorrow. Tallpaw pulled another mouthful of flesh from the rabbit. Shoepaw munched on his mouth. Barkpaw glanced uneasily from one to the other before blowing out. It must be fun trading together. Tallpaw met Shoepaw's gaze, wondering what the brown Tom would say. Shoepaw shrugged. It's okay. Tallpaw blinked, surprised at Shoepaw's reply. Yeah, he agreed. Why should they make? Barkpaw worried that they weren't getting along. He ate till his belly was full and then hid himself to his paws. I'm gonna go stretch my legs, he told Barkpot. I don't want to stiffen up. Don't start taking me out again later. He noted that Shoopon headed across the camp. Palepur was crouching outside the nursery. Meadow Slip paced beside her. The Grave Queen only just moved to the nursery, swollen with hickory noses kicks. Her belly would sway as she padded back and forth, tail twitching, ears flicking, as she was too restless to sit still. Palepur gazed blankly across the camp. Tallpaw frowned. Why wasn't his mother restless too? Did she ever wish she were out on the moor? Or back in the tunnels? Why wasn't she bored stuck in camp? Tallpaw stopped beside her. You should come and watch me train, he said. What, dear? Palepur looked at him distractedly. It'd be good to get you out, for you to get out of the camp. Brack and Wing leaped out of the main hall and hurried out. Don't bother Palepur, she warned. She needs rest. Tallpaw scowled. She's been resting for 6 moons. She must have recovered from kidding by now. She hasn't been sleeping well, Meadow Slip explained. Tell me about it later, Tallpaw, Palepur murmured. I'm sure you've had fun. Tallpaw's tail whipped crossly as he slouched away from the nursery, eyeing Barkpaw and Shrewpaw. They were chatting thrushes now that he was gone. Behind him, Tallpaw could hear Meadow Slip talking to Palepur and Brackenwing. Do you think the visitors will return this green leaf? Tallpaw's ears perked. Visitors? I'm sure they will, Brackenwing answered the young queen. I can't remember a time they didn't. Tallpaw stopped and sat down. He needed a wash after his meal. He might as well wash here when he could listen to the queens. I hope Weehan had made it through. Leaf Bear, Brackenwing lowered her voice. She was very frail last time we saw her. Whiteberry will be disappointed if she didn't, Meadow Slip commented. Tallpaw cleaned his muzzle with a freshly licked paw. Brackenwing purred. Weehan and Whiteberry could swap stories from dawn to dusk. There was talk of her settling with the clan once. Settling with us, Meadow Slip sounded shocked. How do you explain her to the other clans? Wing Clan wouldn't be the first to take in a rout, Brackenwing pointed out. But we're the only clan who lets visitors share our dens and our prey every green leaf. What if... Meadow Slip replied, what would the other clans say? What if they thought we were training rouches to attack them? Tallpaw lapped the fur along his spine as it lifted with interest. He'd never heard of visitors living with the clan. Why hadn't anyone mentioned them before? Who cares about what the other clan says? Brackenwing sniffed. They huddle in the marshes and woods, hiding like prey from the wind and sun. We live with our tails touching the sky. If we want to share territory, that's our choice. Tallpaw! Dawnstar called from the camp entrance. Tallpaw jumped to his paws, his fur still wet from washing. Dawnstar's whiskers twitched as she beckoned him with her tail. Put your tongue away and let's practice some battle moves. Tallpaw hurried after her as she ducked through the heather. Who are the Greenleaf visitors? He asked as he caught up to her on the smooth grass outside the camp. Dawnstrike paused, her eyes narrowed. Who told you about the Greenleaf visitors? Meadow Slip and Brackenwing are talking, he told her. You shouldn't eavesdrop. I wasn't, Tallpaw protested. They weren't exactly whispering. He frowned at Dawnstrike. Are the visitors a secret? We don't talk about them when they're here. Not here, especially not outside the clan. Dawnstrike headed along the sheep trail that wounded through the grass patch. Tallpaw trotted after her. Why did they come? Dawnstripe didn't look back. They just always have. Do they live with us? And camp with us? Just for Greenleaf. Do they join patrols and hunt for the clan? Sometimes. Dawnstripe. Tallpaw stopped. Are they Rouges? He stared after Dawnstripe. Why is she acting like he'd discover a secret? They came every Greenleaf. He's bound to know eventually. Dawnstripe halted and turned around. I guess you'd call them Rouges. They don't follow the clan code. Do we have to let them stay with us? Tallpaw unsheathed his claws. The Wind Clan really let a band of Rouges take over their camp and prepare every Greenleaf? Dawnstripe swished her tail. Of course not. We choose to let them stay and make them welcome. But Rouges are bad, aren't they? Tallpaw tipped his head on one side. Not all Rouges are bad. Dawnstripe kept going along the trail. Not these Rouges. Dawnstripe, Tallpaw trotted after her. Why is it such a secret? It's best the other clans don't know. Why? Is Wind Clan breaking the warrior code? You sound like a kid. Dawnstripe nosed her way out of the stretch grass. Stop asking questions and show me the moves you used on Shrewpaw this morning. Well, that's the end of Tallstar's Revenge. I have been Chapter 8. I have been Musiver23. I thank you for listening. Chapter 8 Chapter 9 will probably be uploaded tomorrow. I am not sure because I have all my makeup work done. But I have a speech for a class I need to practice because I am going to be presenting it on Friday. And I'll need to practice that a couple times. But I don't need to make this video any longer. Stay tuned for Chapter 9. If it's not uploaded tomorrow, it will definitely be uploaded Saturday. Comment, like, subscribe, bye.